Welcome back, everyone. This week we are back straight into the Mexico Grand Prix, and well, we are getting to the pointy end of the season now. I can't believe it's gone this fast, but fuck, it is heating up now. Heating up. McLaren's, we don't even know if they've got an advantage anymore. So it is going to be so interesting, and if anyone's going to give these two boys a run for their money, it's going to be Verstappen. But let's get into these Mexico GP predictions. So let's start with the track. So it is a very unique circuit because of the air. So, you know, teams don't often run like Monza-like setups, even though it is such a high-speed circuit, because of the air is so much more thin. So the teams generally go for a little bit of downforce on this one. And, I mean, it doesn't really change the racing much because everyone's still in the same boat. Although top-end speed isn't as much, you know, isn't as critical, I guess. So for me personally, it's a 6 out of 10, the track rating. It's it gives some good racing often. It's sort of similar in chaos in T1, like Coda. Obviously, we saw a lot of mistakes and crashing and spin outs into turn one at Coda last weekend. I don't doubt that we will see the same thing in Mexico because it has that same feel where the track's really wide just before the apex, and then all of a sudden the track closes in, and it makes it even worse because it's straight away after T1. You've got that left-right again, which makes it, you know, even difficult for two cars to go alongside each other. DRS zones are good here. They've got a couple good long DRS zones, so the cars definitely can overtake, although not through that back section of the track and through the stadium section. But it is cool. It's a good spectacle. Not a lot of tracks have stuff like that, so I reckon good on them for doing something like that. And it's cool how they do the presentation in there and stuff like that. So it's a good circuit. The track evolution does get a 5 out of 5 rating as well, because it is only used once a year, I believe. So at least the back section with the GP circuit I think only is used once a year, but 5 out of 5 on the evolution anyway, according to Pirelli. So we'll see what happens there. Let's talk quickly about the tyre compounds. So C2 and then 4 and 5. So it's going to be a jump again. Pirelli really trying to encourage this, see if they can make this two-stop strategy viable. But I don't know. I mean, we saw in Coda, like the two-stop is just, it turns into a tire. Instead of teams going, oh, hang on, we can be faster with a two-stop. Well, it just turns into tire management because everyone's going to do that. And because of the way the cars are now, with how much dirty air they're producing and how difficult it is to overtake, you need such a big delta nowadays to overtake cars that it's pretty much, it's not that you will get around 50 laps of a track by yourself faster doing a two-stop. But with a car in front of you, you're not overtaking them. So it's just, you know, seems to be more convenient for teams to just go, hang on, we'll just do a one-stop and hold whoever's doing a two-stop up. They're not going to get around us. We're safe. We're confident in our time management, and that's the way it will be. But yeah, they are trying to make it that. Look, I'll give them props for trying something like that. I think it's a good step in the right direction. I think something like that can definitely work more next year when the cars will probably be producing less dirty air. We'll be able to see more close racing, hopefully, as per usual with the regulation change. Carlos won last year, so that was a mad win. I don't know if we'll get a different driver winning this year or whether it'll be one of the top three, Verstappen and Norris, Piastri. So we'll see about that. But we do know, as I said before, turn one, man. Turn one is going to be... We have seen some major chaos in T1 over the years. Even back to the Mercedes days. I remember Hamilton going through the grass, running wide and claiming that P1. So it's going to be good. It's really exciting. Definitely always an interesting start to the race because you can have the best start, but that draft, it's such a long, way to T1 that you never know whether you're going to come out of there first or not. So front row isn't even always guaranteed stay in P1 or stay in P2. You got that second row is always going to get that draft. So if they can find a hole, then they stick their car in it. They definitely will. So it'll be good to see. Let's see. Let's go predictions now. Max, will he be quick again? Does the Red Bull have that car under them? I think they do. I think they definitely do. So I don't know though. I don't think they're going to win this weekend. I think McLaren's going to come back, right? We're not a sprint weekend. So I've gone Norris for pole because he's just driving the car faster at the moment. But I think Piastri's going to have a bounce back weekend and win. And Gasly, given that the Alpine is so fucking slow in a straight line, I'm going to give him class drive because I feel like that's not as important as it seems on this track. And who knows, maybe the Alpine, with a decent chassis, can score points. So hopefully. And then run wide, I've gone Bortoletto. Hulk has been in a lot better form than him recently. And I don't know, he's not having a good... He's sort of in a bit of a trough at the moment. He's struggling. And Hulk is... It's weird. The Saubers have gone back and forth. They're not... It hasn't been often that they're both on. And at the moment, it's Hulk. So that's why I've gone run wide for Bortoletto. So who knows? But the weekend ahead is going to be a standard weekend, as I was saying before. So we got no sprint. So that means 3 practices. And who does this benefit? Definitely the McLaren. So in Coda, the sprint weekend made that awfully tough on the McLarens because of the fact that they shot themselves in the foot with that crash. And they only get the 1 practice session to set up the car, which was troubled. So they were always on the back foot. 3 full practice sessions here is going to be extremely helpful for them, as it will be for every team. But they definitely need that. And what it seems like now is McLaren doesn't really have the tyre advantage to destroy the field like they were at the start of the year. They feel like Norris had the pace at Coda to contend for the win. Definitely probably with Verstappen, but once he lost that place to Leclerc, it was sort of game over because there was just no way he was getting around. But let's say Norris was in front of him from the start, he probably could have closed that gap and contended with him. So I don't believe the McLaren's just gone. They're not done and dusted, but I don't think they've got that deg advantage like they had at the start of the year. And man, Max is going to give him a good run, and it's going to be such an exciting end of the year. So anyway, let's move on to some headlines now. So I was looking at Briatore. Now, I don't comment too much on situations like this, but so Doohan supposedly has been ruled out for 2026. So they're going to select between Aaron or Colapinto. Supposedly Doohan didn't have the sponsorship or backing behind him to be in contention for that seat. And we all know Formula One is a sponsorship-driven business, and it's unfortunate for Doohan. He got those 6 races, and Colapinto came up with huge backing, and he won. He won the seat, and he hasn't done terribly. I don't think he's outperformed Doohan, but he's done enough there to retain or at least be in contention for 2026. But man, Alpine and their young drivers program is just a joke. They don't give them anything. And this is what I'll say, same thing about the McLaren situation. They're in a contract situation with Palou, and these drivers, I feel like, need some more protection. I don't have the answers. I don't want to say too much because I don't know ins and outs, obviously. But we always talk from an outside perspective. But I feel like, especially young drivers, I mean, the IndyCar situation is a little bit different because he is an experienced driver. So it's a little bit different. But these young drivers, man, I feel like over and over again, we just see them get dogged and they're just stuck. And whether it's to do with sponsorship, but I don't know. I feel like they need more protection and they shouldn't be able to just be dropped like how they are. And man, it sucks sometimes, but it's the way it is. And then I also saw Ferrari supposedly talking with Christian Horner, but I wouldn't I'm not shocked that Christian's talking to Ferrari, but everything that we're seeing is that Christian is going to be wanting skin in the game as such. So he wants, some sort of ownership, similar to sort of what Adrian Newey got with Aston Martin. And obviously we know Christian Horner wants full control, which obviously Ferrari, he's not going to get that. So I'm not surprised that they had a conversation. If they did, I'm sure they did, which is pretty standard, but I don't think anything will come of that. And supposedly Fred Vasseur is safe, but we'll see about that as well. But more on Ferrari, they performed well at Coda. It's weird. Their pace is so unpredictable. I mean, trucks that we just don't know when they're going to be good and when they're going to be shit. Like, that's just the case. I don't think Mercedes is going to be good this weekend. But Ferrari, I mean, who the fuck knows? I mean, we thought they were terrible initially in the weekend. Then all of a sudden in the race, they came alive. Qualifying, they came good. And Leclerc almost pulled a P2, which would have been awesome. Ferrari had a good strategy for him. They nailed the strategy for him, in fact. And Hamilton ran a good race. He almost got done by Piastri at the end, but I think he made a mistake. So it's unbelievable to see, though, that Hamilton hasn't got a podium. And I don't know. If Ferrari's good this weekend, maybe you could. Maybe you could get a podium this weekend. Overall, for the year, I don't think he's doing badly, but we'll see. I hope he gets a podium. So we'll find out, though, guys. So let's get into the weekend. Can Verstappen make this championship more interesting? I'm so keen to find out. Let me know your predictions below, and have a good weekend.